As days passed without incident, General Blura found solace in the apparent safety of the soldiers who had enjoyed the Esther rabbit meat. The initial joy and relief at the soldiers' apparent well-being were palpable, a fleeting moment of respite amidst the relentless turmoil of war. Yet, as the days wore on, a sense of unease began to creep into the camp, lingering like a shadow over the weary soldiers. Around the 13th day, signs of exhaustion and fatigue began to afflict the first group of soldiers who had partaken in the Esther rabbit feast. Initially dismissed as mere consequences of the relentless battle, these symptoms soon escalated, manifesting in cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. The initial vigor that had followed the feast transformed into a profound lethargy, casting a pall over the once jubilant soldiers. Alarmed by the sudden downturn, a swift report was dispatched to General Blura, revealing the grim reality of the first group's health. Blura, initially dismissing the possibility of a guerrillist plot, quickly shifted his stance as he sent doctors to examine the ailing soldiers. To his dismay, the doctors diagnosed a salmonella virus infection, attributing it to unsanitary conditions rather than the rabbit meat. Despite Blura's disbelief, the evidence presented by the experienced medical professionals was undeniable, confused and desperate for answers. Blura questioned why the affliction had struck only the first group and not the others. The search for truth led him into a quagmire of uncertainty, compounded by the invisible nature of the adversary they faced. As a soldier, the intricacies of the scientific truth hidden within Esther rabbit meat eluded him. While a sense of impending defeat loomed, Blura sought refuge in the collective heroism of the nation, suppressing the grim reality that Birai's future was hanging in the balance. In the subsequent days, the second group of 100 soldiers exhibited symptoms mirroring those of the first group, intensifying Blura's anger as he grappled with an unseen, minuscule adversary that now threatened Birai's fate. The insidious nature of the infection, spreading silently and stealthily through the ranks of his army, filled him with a sense of helplessness and frustration. It was a cruel twist of fate, a betrayal by an enemy that lurked in the shadows, invisible yet undeniably potent. As the number of infected soldiers continued to rise, Blura's resolve was tested like never before. Every cough, every groan of pain, served as a painful reminder of the relentless march of death that now stalked the corridors of his camp. Yet, amidst the despair and uncertainty, Blura refused to succumb to despair. He was a soldier, a leader, and he would fight to the bitter end to defend his nation and its people. With each passing day, the situation grew increasingly dire, with the infection spreading like wildfire through the ranks of his army. Despite his best efforts to contain the outbreak, Blura found himself overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the crisis. It was a battle unlike any he had faced before, a war against an invisible enemy that threatened to tear his army apart from within. Yet, even in the darkest of times, there was still hope. Hope that, somehow, they would find a way to overcome this seemingly insurmountable obstacle. Hope that, in the end, Birais would emerge victorious, stronger and more resilient than ever before. For General Blura, this hope was a beacon of light in the midst of the storm, guiding him forward through the darkest of nights. As the days turned into weeks, Blura remained steadfast in his determination to see his nation through this crisis. With each passing day, the toll of the infection grew heavier, yet he refused to yield to despair. He would fight on, for the sake of his people, for the future of Birais, and for the hope of a better tomorrow. And so, as the battle against the unseen enemy raged on, General Blura stood firm, a beacon of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Though the road ahead was fraught with challenges and uncertainties, he knew that as long as he had the courage to fight, there would always be hope for a brighter tomorrow.